Ladies and gentlemen, J.B. Bickerstaff, head coach of the Pistons, has made his way in.
Ready to go.
Going to break down film. Great to have you here. Graziano ready. We got football conversation. The Windman is up early in OKC today. Louis Riddick is ready for some stuff today as we get rolling on this morning. It begins, as it must, in Oklahoma City. Game 1 Western Conference Finals. The Timberwolves and Ant-Man facing that man, the presumptive MVP. He's SGA. Early on, look at this, Coach. We got Anthony Edwards chucking the ball at SGA. What's going on here?
You got to love it. You love the playoffs. You love the chippiness, the competition. That's what it's all about.
Early technical. Then Minnesota looking good in that first half, particularly Julius Randle. He knocked down 5 threes, Coach, in the first half.
Yeah, that's what's going to be there for him. The kick-out threes are going to be there the way that they want to swarm the paint. You get those kick-out threes, you got to knock them down.
They would take 51 threes in all. Anthony Edwards made that one. He didn't make many more. Timberwolves would lead by as many as 9. It's a 4-point game at halftime, and then the third quarter happened. OKC dominant. Look at Jalen Williams getting it done.
Yeah, he was great last night. I thought that Thunder did a great job in the second half of going to smaller lineups, putting Chet Holmgren at the 5, creating more space and giving guys room to work.
And now here we are staying with the play. We're turning defense into offense. It's SGA working his way up. It was a 32-18 quarter in favor of the home team. This is the very next possession. More from SGA, just probing Thunder a 4-point lead. And then he continues in the mid-range. SGA would score or assist on 20 points in the third quarter. The Timberwolves as a team had 18. It's OKC by 10 going to the fourth. Now it's a 9-point game. You mentioned Chet Holmgren taking advantage inside. He would score 15. Thunder up 11. It's more from SGA. Plus the foul. He had 31 points, 9 assists, 3 steals. OKC up 14. Meanwhile, frustration on the other. Oh, let's throw one up and throw it down. Jalen Williams, a little fun on the alley-oop. And the Thunder take game 1 handily, 114-88. The frustration for that man, Anthony Edwards. Ant-Man taking just 13 shots in this game 1. He was contained to the perimeter. His average shot distance was over 25 feet from the basket, which was by a wide margin the longest in any game in his NBA career, regular season or playoffs, by a margin of 2 feet. Here was Ant-Man after the game.
I definitely got to shoot more. I only took 13 shots. They remind me of like an AAU defensive team, just run and jump, fly around. So it was pretty good. Good to get it out of our system in game 1. So we'll be ready for game 2. We should be ready.
That'll be tomorrow night. Let's dive in here. We'll get to the Windman in a second. But first, Coach, the first thing I said to you, we heard that sound this morning. And we said, what does that mean? When he says they're playing AAU-style defense, we put together some tape of what they were doing to him in the paint last night.
Yeah, when you go and watch AAU basketball, it's a bunch of full-court press. It's a bunch of trapping. It's a bunch of smothering the basketball and your best defender or your best offensive player to get the ball out of his hands. You take a look at the film here, how many bodies there are guarding Ant Edwards when he's in isolation situations. Something different that the Thunder do is they bring their guy from the strong side corner, and they don't mind giving up those contested corner threes, but he never played a one-on-one game last night where he's so elite. Everything was 1-on-3, 1-on-4 with all eyes on him.
Outstanding. So, Windman, you were there in the arena. What did you see as far as OKC's defense against Anthony Edwards, who we talked about coming into this series as the man who should define it?
Yeah, so throughout the night, the Thunder players were all over him on the perimeter. And you can prepare for the Thunder defense. You can go over it and film. But until you actually see it, it can be a little bit disorienting. And throughout the game, his Ant Edwards' teammates were encouraging him, look to drive, look to drive. They're sitting on your right, go left. He just couldn't do it. When you face Alex Caruso, when you face Lou Dort, when you face Case and Wallace, and you see those guys fight over those screens, and you don't get the space you normally get, you could tell Ant was a little bit uncomfortable. He only took 1 shot at the rim in this game. That is unheard of for him. The Thunder's defense scored 31 points off of turnovers. You're not going to beat them like that, especially when Ant is not having a prolific offensive game.
Look, if anyone who didn't follow OKC closely all year, I continue to say this. Look at the final defensive statistics in the NBA season. And it literally, number one in every meaningful category is the Thunder. And so here are the numbers. Minnesota took 51 threes last night. That is their most in a playoff game in franchise history by a wide margin. Just 13 shots for Anthony Edwards. So we sometimes will do a thing here. We call it bad game or bad sign. Did you think last night was just a bad game for Ant-Man and for the Timberwolves, or was it a bad sign of things to come?
I think it was a bad game. This is that feeling out, chess match, punch, counter punch situation. Now, if the same thing happens in game two, then you got some things to worry about. But I think what they felt is how the Thunder wanted to defend them. And like Wendy said, you can't emulate that in practice in the time off. You have to go against it. They're going to have to make some of those shots. The way that the Thunder defend, they crowd the paint. When the kickout's there, you got to trust your teammates, trust your work. But you got to be able to knock down some of those open shots to hopefully extend the defense, and then that gives Ant Edwards opportunities to drive the ball.
Cindy, if we can, throw up a 40, please. ESPN Bet loves the Thunder. They loved them all year long. They love them even more now after taking a 1-0 lead with a commanding second-half performance last night. The Thunder are now minus 700 to win this series at ESPN Bet Sportsbook, and they are favored by 7.5 points in Game 2. Same question to you, Windman, through your eyes, and you've seen as much playoff basketball as anybody the last 2 decades. Did it feel in the arena like a bad game or a bad sign for Minnesota?
Well, the Timberwolves generated almost 50 open three-pointers. I think about 47 of their outside threes were deemed open, and they only hit 11 of them. So around 26, 28%. If you figure you're going to generate that many open looks, that you're going to make some more of them. So I think if you're the Wolves, you're saying, look, we were able to generate open shots. We just didn't hit them. In fact, they shot a better percentage on contested threes than they did open threes. So I think they look to drive a little bit more, get Ants more at the rim, and expect their bench. Their bench was really the strength of their team. Naz Reid, Dante DiVincenzo, Nickeil Alexander-Walker were horrible shooting the ball in this game. So you're hoping for that to improve.
East Conference Finals tip-off at Madison Square Garden, where Jalen Brunson and the Knicks are a 4.5-point favorite over Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers. So just how critical is the outcome of Game 1? Well, I'm glad you asked. Getting off to a good start in the conference finals is paramount. The winner of Game 1 historically has won the conference finals 78% of the time. And this man seated to my left knows this Knicks team only too well. You played 6 unbelievably tough games against them in round 1 as they were able to advance in just one close game after another. So let's start it as general as we can. If you were to complete the following sentence, the Knicks are going to win this series if what?
If they control the tempo of the game. The Knicks are at their best, when they're playing a half-court ball control offense. They have guys who are very comfortable, Brunson, Towns, operating in short clock situations. Not everybody can play that way. So if they can control the tempo of this game, dictate the style of the fight, keep the Pacers in the half court and out of transition, they'll give themselves the best opportunity to win it.
We'll focus on the Knicks piece of it here. We'll get to the Indiana side of it a little bit later in this hour. Windman, we were talking in our meeting this morning. We just saw Indiana sort of dismantle a Cleveland team that was the number 1 seed in the East. But what reasons do you have for believing the Knicks might be better equipped to handle these Pacers?
Yeah, so the Knicks were obviously put together to beat the Boston Celtics. Going out and getting OG Anunoby, go out and getting Mikal Bridges, really investing in Josh Hart. Well, that's going to work against the Pacers, too. The Pacers' wings, and I include Tyrese Halliburton as a wing for this discussion because you're not going to defend him with Jalen Brunson. You're going to defend him with the wing, likely Mikal Bridges. The Knicks are really equipped defensively to try to combat all of that size and all of that athleticism that Indiana brings. The same style that they use to deal with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Derek White, they can translate it over here, especially as Coach Bickerstaff mentioned, if they can do it in the half court, if they can keep the Pacers out of their preferred speed. I like the Knicks matchups in the half court with their size and versatility on the wing. The Pacers shot 50% as a team and 42% on threes against the Cavs, largely because their wings dominated. And I'm going to include Pascal Siakam in there too, because that's who I think OG Anunoby will spend quite a bit of time on, his former Raptors teammate. So the Knicks are really built out defensively to battle the Pacers much better than the Cavs and the Bucks.
And generally speaking, with the Knicks, it all begins with Jalen Brunson. Again, you just spent 6 games dealing with him. We marvel at him. Those of us who just, we're accustomed to these giants playing this game, and here's this comparatively small player able to do so. What is it that makes him so difficult to deal with?
It's intelligence and it's his plan. His ability to draw fouls makes defenses have to take just one step back. They want to be physical. You want to use your size. You want to use your length. But you're always on edge because he's so capable of creating that contact and getting to the free throw line. But you watch him and he has a plan, right? He understands how defenses want to guard him. He's never in a hurry. You never see him taking shots that the defense wants him to take. He creates the space to get the shot that he's looking for.
Windman, how about Jalen Brunson in this series?
Yeah, well, Brunson was a real problem for the Pacers last year. He was dominating the early part of that series. You may remember in that 7-game series, the Knicks won games 1 and 2 and were in great position for game 3 before Andrew Nembhard made a crazy three-pointer that switched the game late. Brunson will be the primary focus of the Pacers defense, and primarily they want to keep him off the line. The Pacers want to run up and down. They don't want to leave Brunson and the rest of the Knicks at the free throw line to rest while they do that. They're going to try their best to try to get the ball out of his hands, and if they're going to make somebody beat him, it's not going to be Jalen Brunson. That's their game plan.
A quick final thought on that. I mean, the Pacers can run so many different defenders at Brunson and do all that AAU stuff we're talking about, picking them up three-quarter court and all that kind of stuff. How much of a factor is that in this series?
It's going to be the key. You have to do your best to wear him down. If you allow him to play at his tempo, if you allow him to walk the ball up the floor and not have to fight pressure, it's going to be a long night for you. They've got multiple bodies that they can throw at him and multiple styles that they can defend him with.
Cindy, let's wrap it up with A50. ESPN Bet tells us the Knicks are slight favorites to win this series at -150, so that is narrow. And New York is a 4.5-point favorite in Game 1. Again, all this courtesy of ESPN Bet Sportsbook. So